Really, when we think about marketing, it's really about two things. It's about the needs of the customers and how we deliver on those needs. And so, for example, when we think about the needs of customers from an example of, say, a Florida or a California vegetable grower, they're typically pretty sophisticated in their use of technology and latest agronomic practices. In contrast, in some developing areas of the world, they may have only recently adopted hybrids in the last few years. And so their needs for agronomic information or variety information may be more basic. And so it's really about identifying what are the needs of the growers relative to their practices. And then from the aspect of how do we deliver on those needs, in some areas of the world we sell directly to growers. And in other areas, we utilize distributors or dealers. And so then it's about how do we deliver that message to the growers. But at the end of the day, it's about the customer needs and how do we deliver the message to them, whether that's directly with our staff or through our dealers or distributors. Well, I would say it's really one of the biggest challenges, whether you're an individual seed company or the industry as a whole, is how do we best deploy the innovation that we really have in front of us in an efficient manner. And what I mean by that is when we think about the vegetable seed industry, it is yet to experience the levels of innovation that maybe we've seen in row crops, like in corn, cotton, soybean, canola, those types of crops. And the challenge with vegetables is it's typically a lot of fragmented market segments, a lot of unique needs, even within crops. And so being able to accomplish the economies of scale to develop the innovation, the technology that we have, and get an adequate return on that investment is a challenge. So wherever we can look across the globe and make sense of segments that span the globe in different geographies, that is definitely a help, I think, for our organization or the industry as a whole. And then the second part to the challenge of bringing innovation then is how do we minimize challenges of phytosanitary requirements, country of origin, and intellectual property protection when we think about spanning the globe. And wherever we can minimize those challenges, that's going to really, I think, increase the pace of innovation in vegetable seed and really bring better solutions for vegetable seed growers around the globe. We talk about in industry associations is the challenges of harmonizing regulations as much as possible and minimizing some of those, I'll call them non-tariff trade barriers, where different jurisdictions decide to impose maybe non-science-based restrictions. Wherever we can get to more of a science-based approach, I think that's really going to help in minimizing those restrictions. Well, when we think about our product development pipeline, we're pretty excited because we have the advantage of being able to really take advantage of the overall Monsanto investment in seed and genomics globally, and we've been able to start to deploy that into vegetable seed. And so the exciting part about that is we have a lot of molecular and analytical tools that we've been able to start to deploy, and we think that that's going to bring some exciting products in the near future. Now, from a short-term standpoint, we're starting to see that, and we're focusing really in two broad categories. We think of it from a grower benefit standpoint and from a consumer benefit standpoint. On the grower benefit front, we've this past year launched a product called Performance Series Sweet Corn that offers the benefits of being able to spray Roundup on sweet corn and up to 85% reduction in pesticide application for the sweet corn grower. We're right now just getting ready to launch cucumbers with increased levels of downy mildew tolerance, and that's a pretty important disease for cucumber growers across the eastern U.S., so we're pretty excited about the benefits that will offer to cucumber growers, American slicer cucumber growers. And then when we think about in the near term, we've got bell peppers that will have increased resistance to Phytophthora, and easy harvest broccoli that we're developing right now that will have better harvest efficiency for the grower. From a consumer benefit standpoint, we've recently launched 3 exciting products: Evermild Onion, Melorange Melon, and Beneforte Broccoli, that either offer improved taste or nutritional benefits for consumers. And we've also got some additional products in the pipeline that are currently in market development that may be launched in the coming years. Well, first to clarify, we already have genetically modified vegetables in the marketplace today. Biotech squash has been around for about 10 years, and around the same time Syngenta launched a BT sweet corn. So they've been around for a while, and then as recently as this year we launched a product, Performance Series Sweet Corn, that is also genetically modified, genetically engineered, and offers the benefits of spraying Roundup and reducing pesticide application because of its control of corn earworm and corn armyworm, fall armyworm. When I think about the future of GM products in vegetables, I think it's going to be pretty limited in terms of the number of products coming, at least in the near term. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First off, when you think about developing and obtaining regulatory approval for a biotech event, the cost is upwards of $50 million. And from a vegetable seed standpoint, that's pretty restrictive, because you either have to have a very high value product, or you have to have very broad acres to make financial sense. And so as a result of that, I think that the number of products that are going to meet the needs of broad acre or high value to make sense of a $50 million investment are going to be few and far between. Now, there's also the aspect of consumer acceptance, and I think that's developing, but regardless, even without that, I think it's going to be limited in the short term. That said, I think there's a lot of other exciting things that can happen in vegetables that may even offer more benefits than say, GM and vegetables in the near term. And I go back to the molecular tools and analytical tools that we have available just within the vegetable species, being able to understand the vegetable species genomes better and really map genes and move them from one variety to another and develop improved varieties with better disease resistance and other grower benefits, or better taste or nutritional benefits for consumers. There's a great opportunity there in the next decade to really make some improvements in vegetable seed. Consumer trends really guide our overall crop strategies, because we're really looking and trying to get ahead of what consumers are thinking and what they're going to want in a number of years, so that we can direct our R&D resources accordingly. And so, for example, if we think about vine-ripened tomatoes, 20 years ago they were a niche product in the supermarket, and today they're in almost every supermarket. That's an example of something where we need to understand as early as possible when that's happening. So for today, if we look at tomatoes, we see a lot more cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes in different colors, and that's more of a trend. And the earlier we can understand that trend, we can adapt our research programs to try and get the right product at the right time for the consumer. Historically, I would say that branding and packaging in the vegetable seed industry has not been that important. And when we talk to growers, they will typically say their purchase decision is based on the variety that they grow, and they put a lot of emphasis on the variety. However, I would say that is changing, and I think it's going to change even more. And I go back to some of the things I've said about the R&D investment and pace of innovation in vegetable seed. I think the pace of innovation in vegetable seed is going to increase substantially in the coming years. As a result, the life cycle of specific varieties is going to become shorter. For a grower, that's going to be more difficult to make sense of all the different varieties that are coming and changing. And I think as a seed company, if you can offer a portfolio of products under a brand and deliver a consistent customer experience with that seed brand, then the seed brand is going to mean a lot to the grower in the long term. And so I see that seed branding and packaging is going to become more and more important in the future.